preparing people for a future that we don't even know what it looks like. So we've talked about that in education for a long time. We need to prepare our kids for a world and jobs that don't even exist yet.
Yes.
And so we have to think about that in the business world as well. And the T of SMART is all about being transcendent. And then coming back to the S is about sensory. This is about capturing your clients. And I love this phrase, teaching does not guarantee learning. Coaching does not guarantee learning. So what SMART is all about, and S with sensory and looking, touching, feeling, bringing the emotions and the energy into whatever you present to your client. Because our content is not what matters anymore. It's how we deliver it and how our learners or our clients or whatever you call them, how they receive it. So in a sensory-based presentation, our client, we're not just teaching, but our clients are actually learning and they're able to implement what we have to offer.
That's so big. If education was just down to information, we would all be reading encyclopedias.
Absolutely. I mean, we have it right in front of us.
Yes. So you're saying that, listen, folks, if you are a speaker, a pastor, an author, a teacher, a coach, you are every day you're delivering presentations. Absolutely. I mean, this is a presentation.
Right here. Yeah, absolutely.
And so as a result, we need T for transcendence. And let's unpack that for a little bit, because transcendence, I like what you said. You said it's not contained to this moment in time. In other words, Martin Luther King Jr., his I Have a Dream speech is transcendent. People can listen to it decades later. JFK's Man on the Moon. You have these certain moments in time, these presentations that were smart. Jesus, the Sermon on the Mount. What makes, dare I ask, I'm putting you on the spot, what makes a talk transcendent? Because I believe that, I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with people watching right now. I want them to sign up for conference, and I want them to get their butt in the seat. And why? Because I know that the whole conference is wired to be smart. So what makes a talk, a presentation, transcendent?
Well, two things actually. One is the use of visuals. So we'll give a little sneak peek to conference. So what we got here is a UPS truck.
Yes.
You know what this is all about because we've been preparing for this. But you know, the use of visuals is one way to really capture and grab and make people curious. So why a UPS truck? Well, because we want to present in a way that is UPS. It is unforgettable, practical, simple. So by using a visual, to answer your question, by using a visual, that's one example of what's going to make a presentation transcendent.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. So now every time I see a UPS truck, you've anchored unforgettable, practical and simple as a talk.
And thinking about conference, gosh, I wonder what she's going to talk about UPS at conference.
Yeah.
How does that connect? So you want to build this curiosity in your messaging, in your delivery, so that people can't help but be drawn.
Oh my gosh. All right. I got a practical thing right here. So I often ask the team to write emails, right? And in the beginning, nothing against them, this is normal. In the beginning, most of the team would focus on the body of the email. You know, they would send me, hey, Kary, what do you think about this? And then I would edit it. And immediately, in fact, it's a pet peeve, I'll be honest. Immediately I said, hold on, before you even focus on the body of the email, where's the subject line? So I'm saying that right now, even the fact that you used UPS, you got my curiosity. And that's what you need to do with your copywriting, with emails. it doesn't even matter that you spent 45 minutes writing an email. If your subject line is not smart, you will miss it. People won't even open the email, and then you've lost them. So think about Dead Poet Society. This is probably, you're getting my brain going.
I love it. I love it.
I always loved Dead Poet Society. It's one of my favorite movies. But I believe that Robin Williams, or John Keating in the movie, was smart. Like, he literally used sensory, and then now go to the M.
This is powerful. M is metacognition, and metacognition is about awareness, awareness of the world around us, awareness of our audience. It's about perspective, understanding how people think and how we think and how we respond to their thinking. And in schools, we use many brain-based techniques to uncover the awareness of others. And I'll go back to the visual. So when we show a visual, we can really uncover a perspective and an awareness of others so that we can then drive that transcendence.
I love it. I know cognitive is in the word metacognition. Of course, meta is huge these days with Facebook. What would you say is an element of metacognition that you use in your talks? Just because I'm trying to make it really simple for the audience, because these are new terms, for me and for other people. So what's an example of metacognition?
So one of the sentence starters I use when I'm coaching clients is my favorite 3 words, and it's not "I love you." It is "tell me about." So when I begin a sentence in conversation with any client, whether it's adults, kids, I oftentimes start with "tell me about," because that forces their brain to really think about their perspective and awareness. And it's important for us, before we teach and unload our content, to understand the current understandings of our clients.
Interesting. So it's kind of like, I think it was Les Brown or someone said, never let what you want to say get in the way of what the audience needs to hear.
Absolutely.
In other words, as a communicator, I can make the talk be all about me. I mean, I can. Anybody can. They can make it be all about them. And you're saying we miss our students. So when you say, "Tell me about why your homework is late," or "Tell me about why this math lesson isn't connecting," you're saying that that's infusing metacognition
forcing people to think about their thinking and their perspective.
Oh,
and they can't engage in learning until that's tapped in.
Wow. I love that. Okay. And I'm a big fan of Jesus, and I look at the scriptures, and I look at his delivery, and I'm like, ooh, sensory, parable of the talents and the seed and the sower. It's like he's using all these. I mean, hey, he's a smart teacher, right?
Well, what's interesting is, and I'll talk about this in the presentation at conference, is I'm gonna do a presentation to you, but then we're gonna go back and look at the subtleties of what I did. Oftentimes your audience misses. They engage in it and they know it was great.
Yes.
However, they don't know exactly what you did to
Yes.
make it great. So there's these little subtle pieces, just like you said about, re-unpacking another message.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, I never saw this in that message before.
Yeah, you're gonna teach us it, and then you're gonna be like, "Hey, you were in the Matrix. Now I'm gonna show you what I just did.
Here's what I just did to you."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it works. I mean, who knows?
Hey, Brant's saying, "I can't wait to learn how to better teach those I work with using the SMART method."
Oh, hey, Brant, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'd love for people to jump in and post, if they're coming, if they have their ticket. This year we only have 250 tickets in person. It's a very different feel. In the past, I invested a ton of money on a big stage with big lights and big, bells and whistles. This time I said the show is in the room, it's the people. And so we've even organized the layout of the building to be workshop centric and, round table-ish. So let's go into the A, and then we have the R, but let's go into the A.
And this is interesting because I was just going to say something, but it connects to the A. A is accessibility. And you use this phrase all the time, Kary, and it's about putting the cookies on the bottom shelf. It's about making the content accessible for everyone. So if you're coming and you're a speaker, an entrepreneur, a parent, a pastor, a teacher, no matter what your field is or what your purpose is in
Yep.
coming,
Mhm.
everyone should be able to present something that is impactful for you. So
Yeah.
accessibility means that in your presentation, you want something for everyone. Even
Ooh,
though
that's
you
good.
don't know who everyone is in your audience, you've got to have the metacognition and awareness yourself
That's
to
good.
make your presentation accessible to everyone. And I got to tell a story. I was just talking to a tribe member the other day, and she attended a conference earlier this month. And I knew she was going to this conference. She had been preparing for it for a long time. And I asked her, how was the conference? And this is exactly what she said. She said, it's no igniting souls.
Whoa.
And there's something about that phrase that makes this conference different. It makes this conference smart. Like I said, this is my 8th year coming to conference, and the connections and the networking, the accessibility that I have to a broad range of people and fields and businesses and coaches is incredible. And even though the content is top notch, it's the delivery, it's the how that we've been talking about here, that you put everything together that makes people walk away and want to come back. It's just really beautiful.
Well, that's super nice. I didn't know that person would say that. I go to a lot of conferences myself. I'll never forget going to this one conference where I know people have had this experience. You go to a concert and the communicator on stage is impressive for whatever reason. I remember going to this one conference and every single person was super inspiring and super impressive, but incredibly inaccessible and unrelatable. So I tell people it's like dessert. It tastes great, but it has no nutritional value.
I
Right?
love that.
Okay. Well, and I walked away from that conference and I said, well, that's amazing that person climbed that mountain. And I'm just going to give you an example because listen, I'm not offending it, whatever. Maybe I am offending everyone. It doesn't matter. But the person who spoke had no arms or legs and climbed up a mountain. And it was crazy inspiring, like amazing. And at the end of the day, I was like, dang, this person climbed a mountain. And I could have drawn parallels like, oh, where am I disabled or challenged in my own business and life? But nothing against the person, but they didn't use the A in their presentation. You get what I'm saying? They didn't make and I tell people when I coach them in writing, like you have to make your story a universal principle. Because if you don't, people are just like, well, that's a cool story. Right? So I love what you're saying. A is accessible. Love it. Now let's go into I don't even know how to spell. What's next?
So R is restrictions.
Oh,
so,
okay.
This is something where in Daniel Pink wrote a book called Drive, which is all about motivation, just human behavior, motivation, what motivates us
Yeah.
to do what we do. And restrictions, I think, is key for that. Because he talks a lot about autonomy. And in research, we know that human behavior and what motivates us, we need choices.
Okay.
Too many choices will overwhelm us and we will choose nothing. So restrictions is all about giving people the autonomy and flexibility with your message, making sure that they understand that your framework or the step-by-step process that you're sharing with them
Oh, that's good.
is not so restrictive that you don't have your own ability to make your own connections in parallel.
Yes.
However, just like you said, Kary, when you're inspired by a presentation, but you didn't make the parallel on your own, the restrictions mean that the speaker has to make that parallel for the audience. So yes, I may have just inspired you with my story, but here's what it means for you. And so the restrictions mean you want your message to be open-ended enough that people feel the autonomy, the choice, and the flexibility, but you want to restrict it closed enough that they have a path to follow.
Folks, that was the mic drop right there. And here's why. Because of selling. Listen, I want to challenge everyone here. Everyone's selling all the time. So, the whole like, well, I don't sell, baloney. My kids are selling me last night on, hey, let's go to BJ's and get out to eat, right? And, oh, Dad, here's why, and blah, blah, blah. Like everyone's selling everyone all the time. So the point is that, let's just get that out of the way. Next is that every talk should be leading people to an action. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And if you say, well, gee, I don't want my talk to actually influence anybody, well, then I'm going to say you're a bad speaker. I'm just going to say, because why speak then? If you are not trying to influence someone, then why even speak? So next, okay, so everyone's selling, everyone's influencing. Now let's ask the question, are they taking the right action? And I love what you said. Restriction means that you don't give them 50 actions, because the old phrase is you confuse them, you lose them. But if you push too hard with one action, people will feel like you're, quote, selling them and that it was a sales pitch. So I love what you're saying. Smart as that. I think they did a research a long time ago where they said like, hey, what flavor of jam do you like? And
yeah, the jelly experiment. Yes.
Okay. All right. See, I didn't make that up.
No.
So tell us about that and tell us why it was confusing.
So the jelly experiment, they had people come in and had like 52 brands of jelly or 52 flavors of jelly or jam. And there were fewer sales because there were too many choices. So they did the experiment again and there were just a handful, and there were more sales because there was restriction. There was fewer, but there was still choice, but fewer choice. And so there's this sort of fine line that we have to walk when we are trying to sell or when we're trying to engage our audience. Yeah, jelly.
All right. So here's my thing. I'm going to challenge people to take an action step and come to conference.
Absolutely.
All right. And we have two choices. We have general admission, which right now, if you're watching this, you're in the super early bird phase. If you're watching it live, it's literally less than $300. Now, Jonily, a 3-day conference with multiple meals, with speakers from all over the planet, with 5 tracks. We call it Wise Authors, Web3 influencers, soul on fire, entrepreneurs, and authors. 5 different breakout groups. And yet all main stage as well. We have axe throwing, we have food trucks, we have a trip to Dublin with the party bus. I mean, there are so many things this year that we've never done before, not to mention we're preparing people for the new internet that's coming, that's really already here. Have you ever seen an event, we haven't talked about this, but have you seen anything for $300 like that?
Oh, absolutely not. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a no-brainer. And again, it's transcendent, it's timeless, because it's not just a one and done conference. You leave conference and you take those connections with you to carry through for the next year. And
you found a co-author, a business partner, accountability, collaboration. I mean, that's besides all the other stuff, like the speakers, that, and all that jazz. You are finding the best people on the planet.
Lasting relationships and partnerships and collaborations that are so strong for myself personally, but also for my business. It's just expanded the reach of my business.
It has. I mean, I've seen you blow up here in Columbus and really even bigger than that. By the way, do you have your book with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Making Mathineers, and even though that's your very niche lane, which
it's
is
all
amazing.
about delivery. It's all about delivering to engage an audience. In this book, it's about teachers delivering in a classroom to engage an audience of math students. And that's very narrow.
Yeah.
But the bigger SMART picture is this same message. It's the same message. It's how to engage your audience so that they are excited, they're energized, they're inspired, but they walk away with practicality and simple steps to take action.
I love it. And you are literally rewriting math. There's this there's this old math, new math that's fighting each other. And then all of a sudden, boom, you drop in SMART math, which, folks, it's literally going to shift the way we do math. Okay. So, hey, Lisa, good morning. Welcome as well, our YouTube visitor. So here's the point, Jonily. You don't even know I'm going to do this. So be ready. You got to send our team something. I've seen that one handout, that one sheet that you have on SMART math, which is amazing. And I think that if people see it, they'll be like, oh, SMART math. But then they can view like SMART exercise and SMART technology and SMART coaching. Like SMART, I'm going to put on my amazing glasses here, my prescription. But SMART is a way of seeing the world, right? It's a way of seeing the world. And so here's what we're asking every instructor to do. If people purchase within the super early bird, not only are they going to get an amazing deal because ticket rates are going up. By the way, VIP, if you're like, oh my gosh, I want recordings of everything, do VIP. But they're also going to get some incredible blockchain benefits. So we're going to kind of onboard them into this new world so they can't be like, well, I don't understand it. Just like in the 90s, I don't understand a website. Look, you can only play that card so long, and then you have to say, what am I going to do about it? So we're gonna throw in some amazing blockchain bonuses for authors. But on top of all that, every speaker, we're asking them to give us a super early bird bonus. So for your bonus, I would love to be able to have that one sheet that when people purchase their super early bird ticket, we're giving them a private website with a portal with a bonus from every single speaker, no strings attached. And could that be your bonus?
Absolutely. Send it over to you right after this.
Okay. Send it over to us. That would be awesome. And we have a hard stop, Jonily, but last thing that you want to share. I mean, we put in your link, jonily.com. How cool is that you own that, jonily.com? That's pretty cool.
No other Jonily.
That's right. But what would you like to say in conclusion?
I just want to say I can't wait to see you at conference. I think that the messages that are coming that we're going to be able to engage in this year are unbelievable. I've seen a preview, multiple previews of the speakers that are coming, and it is transcendent. I'll just end with that. It is transcendent.
Awesome. Well, I got to roll, my friend. You got to roll, but we hope to see everybody there. Get your ticket right now, ignitingsoulsconference.com. Thanks so much for being here, Jonily. See ya.
Thank you.